Hey folks. So the last day or so have been really interesting. If anybody's watched my last couple of posts, had a really big kind of series of revelations and sort of a lot of opening up happened this weekend. I was on a meditation retreat and a lot of patterns showed up, and it became very quickly one led to the next. It was kind of like a rabbit hole, which is a lot of times my experience with this kind of work. You start tugging at one thread, and then all of a sudden everything's starting to come loose. And so it was like I was led from some of my own complexes and issues around piano into singing, into my dad, into the way I treat my dad. So there's this ongoing cascade of seeing patterns. And one of the things I noticed, I caught it. I was lucky. I was on a call yesterday, which is the day after the retreat, and I was on a call with I have a coach through the Tony Robbins company, and she's fantastic. This woman, Kareen, and I was talking about how I'm starting to get some students, and I've got a little income coming in, right? I'm just telling her about how things are going, and she said, "Wait, why did you say you have a little income coming in?" And I said, I don't know. I don't know why I said that, but I said that. And I realized, if she hadn't caught it, I wouldn't have caught it. But I realized I was thinking of even the income that is coming in now. Like I got, 3-4 emails again after the retreat from people who want to take piano lessons. I'm getting to where my schedule is like almost full. Not quite, but very full now. And I realized, even though that's true, even though, and I've been putting my rates up where I feel like they really belong, even though I'm filling up my schedule at a very decent rate teaching piano, I still think of it like not enough. So like right on the heels of this amazing awakening, all this stuff coming out, all this release, Monday hits and I'm right back. Like my pattern comes right back. And luckily, like I said, I caught it because Kareen kind of called me on it, and I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, I really did say that. Who knows why I said that?" But let me look at that. Let me just take a step back, and instead of like taking the excitement from the release and the excitement from the retreat and just kind of running on the excitement for a period of time while actually my old programming is coming back, let me just actually like stay in this space of really observing and seeing the patterns. That's kind of what it's like, the difference between doing and seeing. And Kyle talks about this all the time. I've heard other spiritual teachers talk about this. Just sitting with who you are and what's going on and seeing what's going on is like years and years and years worth of work can happen in just that presence. So that's kind of where I've landed. And I've also, I was poking around. I happened to come across a quote by someone. It wasn't even a quote. It was like a guy who listed a bunch of quotes on his Facebook page. Various people, including like the Marianne Williamson quote, which is like, "It's not our darkness, but our light that scares us." I think Nelson Mandela said something like that. A bunch of people have said things like that. And I've always kind of gone, what is it? I've known what they meant, but I also haven't known what they meant. I've also kind of disagreed with that statement. I've always been like, yeah, well, not me. I'm not afraid of my light. I'm afraid of my darkness, right? Because it's my darkness that I constantly vie with. It's my darkness that I'm constantly overcoming or wrestling with somehow. And what I saw in that, when I think just being in the combination of being in this space of having released a bunch of patterns and then immediately seeing one come up again, and then seeing this quote sort of with new eyes, I was like, wow, I really get what that means. Because yes, our darkness is the thing that kind of preoccupies us if we're doing a fair amount of our spiritual work. Like we're looking at our shit, our substratum of subconscious inhibiting beliefs, oftentimes covering up some form of trauma, covering up some form of unexpressed emotion, anger, fear, rage, whatever it is that's under there, we kind of have to burrow through that, and it feels really dark. But at some point, it becomes clear that the light, the actual light, the infinite, the space, the now, is going to obliterate every aspect of the ego. There's no aspect of the ego that will survive that, or that can even compare itself to that. There's this way in which even a healthy ego is completely dwarfed by the infinite and completely humbled. And when we start really connecting with the light, then you really start to also see, like, oh wow, like I actually can't hold on to any of this. I actually have to let all of it go. And so then that really is a much more powerful experience, a much more humbling experience than wrestling with the darkness. Now they're both totally necessary, and my own experience is you can't really decide which one you need to deal with on a certain day. It kind of decides for you, like by being present and by being willing to be aware of what is there. We'll see which one kind of comes up. But that quote and that sentiment hit me in a new way. Like, wow, yeah, it really is when you take that seriously, like living in this presence, it really does change everything. It really does kind of, and it dwarfs everything. It dwarfs anything my ego could ever feel, and so or think or be. And so that's just kind of a new way of seeing that idea that I've come to just in the last day or so. So that's my insight for the day, folks. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you very much, and I will see you again very soon.